Hey, welcome to Wildman Videos. This episode we're going to be talking with the Borders family. Okay, we're with the Borders family. We got Don and Thomas here. These guys have been around the monster truck world forever. Thomas, well, I used to do stuff with Don years ago, and then Thomas actually helped me with all the Gas Guzzy shows back in the day. He was our announcer, official announcer. I'm not sure if he had been doing announcing before he come on board, but he was really good at it.
But you taught me well.
Well, I don't know about that. So Don, tell us a little bit about some of your history, some of the stuff you did.
Years ago, many years ago, I went to a monster truck show at the Holman Civic Center in Terre Haute, Indiana, and I seen Bigfoot. So I told his mom when he was leaving, I said, I'm going to build me one of them monster trucks. She said, yeah, right. Well, 6 months later, I drove something out. It was definitely a dinosaur monster truck, an old deuce and a half frame. And from that day on, we just kept progressing. Finally, I went to an MTRA meeting, and they were asking how we get more members into the organization. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Why was it we can't get nobody to come and talk to us and see us at a show to get a licensed driver? And Mr. Chandler asked me, he says, well, when are you going to be at the next one? I told him. He looked at Mr. Hall and he says, hey, can we have some people there to watch him drive? Well, everything went on from that day on. I got my driver's license, started running with him, ended up being an MTRA inspector. Just kept going for many years, and then finally things changed in life and I had to get out of it for just a little bit. And of course, Thomas was little. He wasn't big enough to actually go to the shows. So one day he come to me, Dad, I want to build a monster trike. I said, okay. Well, we built a monster trike, and he brought it to the museum and showed it off, and then he brought it to Fort Wayne, and little to my knowing, he decided to drive it up on the cars. Scared the daylights out of me. We weren't even sure it was going to do it. Next thing you know, I'm going to build a ride truck. So we built him a ride truck, the Monkey Business, the original. And from that day on, he says, I want to do a race truck. So he started doing racing and riding. You know, he'd give rides, go out and race and come back. And then he said, I want to go full-blown race truck. So we did that, changed that. And then later on, he wanted another truck. So we built him another truck. And Jasmine, my granddaughter, says, I want to drive. Okay, we put her in the driver's seat, and now we have 3 generations monster truck driving in history. That is a great thing when you get your family involved into something. You don't have to worry about what they're doing, where they're spending the money. But you know, it was a long, hard time getting there. I met you back even when we was at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the first ever Monster Truck Fest, which I always refer to as the first ever Monster Jam. You know, 50 trucks there. 10 of the pros, and the rest of us were basically rookies with lease springs.
They called us up-and-comers, which really aggravated me because I wasn't an up-and-comer. But yeah, that whole episode of TV was, these are the professionals and these are the up-and-comers.
Yeah, and you know, even though I found out from PACE officials that I finished either 12th or 15th over the whole thing, I felt great, you know. This is a guy with just a 4-barrel injected carbureted motor with no blower, and leaf springs. Busted a leaf spring on Saturday. They asked what to do. That's how I got to meet many of the other drivers.
Gary Porter was the one that was on that deal.
Yep, Gary Porter was parked behind me. He says, what do you need? I said, well, I need a welder and I need some flat strap. I got to make a Band-Aid to go around this thing. So went back there. He said, here's everything. When you're done, lock it up. I didn't even know the guy. You know, I'd heard of him. Yeah. And I locked everything up. The next day he came in and said, how's it doing? I said, looks like it'll be all right. So the gentleman asked me to go ahead and run on Sunday. I ran Sunday, and everything has just progressed from there. You know, I've been an event coordinator. I've been a monster truck.
You've worked. Let's talk about that. You've worked with quite a few different promoters through the years, helping build tracks and different things.
Yes, sir. I think been 7 different promoters that I have worked with as an event coordinator right after I'd sold my first truck before we started building the others. And
the first truck, tell us about it.
My Mistress.
My Mistress, okay. Yeah, and it was the yellow one, right?
It was the yellow one. Okay. And from that day on, we progressed and changed things. I got to buy the Keystone beer body off of Dan Patrick. And while I was there, I bought a mini monster truck. Well, this is where this guy come in on the mini monster truck. He decided to jump a curb at his high school or his elementary school when he was in the 8th grade, and he can tell you later how much that felt. But yeah, I mean,
was that the same mini monster truck that we used for the Gas Guzzy shows?
Okay. Yeah, I still have that truck, and we had another one when I was little.
Because we painted it up as a Gas Guzzy, and then I think your daughter, was she driving?
Yeah, she drove it. Both my daughters.
Okay.
Because together we had 3 of these little mini monster trucks. Every time I get one, I find one, I'm going to buy it. But Yeah, we got the 2 granddaughters involved in doing events at some of the shows, and by being an event coordinator, I got to know a lot more people and got to do a lot more things. And of course, then also, been the builder and driver and owner, and now the grandfather and the father. And I tell you, I enjoy coming to the shows. I drove the ride truck. We had to have a ride truck built. But be able to watch your son and your granddaughter do things is history in the making, as well as very rewarding for the kids to go out there and have fun. And the one time this last year that I didn't actually was able to make it to a show, Tom said, "Dad, I needed you." He says, "I rolled over and Jazzy, what'd she do?"
Jazzy rolled over, blew the tire off. Luckily, we're right there in Bigfoot's hometown, right in front of him. She goes out, she wheelies, lands down, destroys the tire, blows it off. Well, I jump out of the truck, go get her out. I run back there, we get back to pits. Here comes Dan Runty and a bunch of the guys like, "What do you need?" And I'm like, "I got to get this tire on, but I got to be out here for wheelie contests." They're like, "Okay," so we get started. Like, "Well, go on there and we'll get this going." I go out there, do the wheelies, everything, and then we go line up for racing. They get her back going. I go out first round of racing, take off, blew the motor.
Oh boy.
Number 8 rod just disintegrated.
Yeah.
So here I blow a motor, she flips the truck, and it's just the 2 of us.
Well, that sounds like a good place to stop this week. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Come back next week and we'll get some more.